that was my frustration with philanthropic work. While it feels really good, you're always aware of who you cannot help, and that doesn't feel so good. You know what the number one teaching tool in the world is? It's YouTube. Now I'm gonna take you into my kitchen in my house, and show you my daughter who wants to make something very special for one or if not both of her parents. She doesn't pull out a recipe book. You know, she goes to YouTube, finds what she wants, and she watches somebody teach her. And then she makes us a beautiful dinner. You bet on people, and I bet on her, and she bet on me, and we're grateful every day for that. I lived a life, despite appearing to be pretty successful at what I did as a tennis player. I lived a life very disconnected because it was never my choice to play tennis. So that sort of disruption kind of led me to a breaking point where I was going to quit at a very early age, and then I sort of demanded from myself to just because I didn't choose my life doesn't mean I can't take ownership of it, and I wanted to find my reason for playing. I had to find something bigger than me that I was still connected to. And when I saw this show, particularly on 60 Minutes with the KIP Knowledge is Power program, they were showing these two guys rolling up their sleeves and, you know, systemically changing these children's life who really didn't have choice, right? I mean, when you're in an impoverished neighborhood, when you don't have opportunities, equity in society, there's really no choice. There's no complaining about being number one in the world. So I made it my mission that day to create choice for kids through education, because to me, that's a future of their choosing. And that's connected to my lack of choice that I felt in my life, and also my lack of education. Well, I started by helping children in need, and I helped them a broad amount of ways for about 4 years, so in the first 4 years of my foundation. And then I realized I was sticking Band-Aids on a lot of issues, and that's when I got specifically focused on education. I took out a $40 million mortgage, which seemed to be overnight, and I built my own charter school at the end of the 90s, heading into 2000, in the most economically challenged area of Las Vegas. 1,200 kids, a K through 12 charter school. Then spent the rest of my career trying to pay for it and making it sustainable. During that process, I was quite frustrated, not at the difficulty in trying to educate these children. I was frustrated that I had 1,200 kids in the school and 3,000 on the waiting list. For me, that made me twice the failure I was the success. So as a result, my mission was to figure out a way to scale it. That's when a gentleman by the name of Bobby Turner stepped into my life. We got together, sharing our passion and frustration in the public education space, and put together a scalable, sustainable solution to expanding the mission. And that was through the private sector. So with the Turner Agassi Charter School Facility Fund, we've managed in the last 9 years to build 125 best-in-class charter schools across the country. And not riding the backs of teachers or our educational system or the students. So there are real creative solutions to scalability. And that was my frustration with philanthropic work. While it feels really good, you're always aware of who you cannot help, and that doesn't feel so good. And it's also not incredibly scalable, which I found to be the case. And then obviously waiting on the government is never an easy solution. So as a result, I think we can still innovate, and we can still, come to the table, many of us, to figure out, those solutions. So the founder behind it, at the earliest stages, came to me because of my, experience, if you will, in the educational space, and my obvious awareness of how we can balance philanthropic work and for-profit work and scalability and sustainability, right? So I say it was a cold call, and the founder, Andy Butler, says it was a warm call, So I respected it. I said, listen, that's fine. I hear what you're saying. I need to learn more. I learned more, and then I needed to pilot it in my own schools. And then when I saw the dramatic increase in speed of literacy, that's what really pushed me over that. That's what compelled me to have to get involved. So I try to be responsible with my portfolio. So I will firewall, what I need to, what I, my decision, and then I allocate a portion of that portfolio there and beyond where I get really aggressive, and I get aggressive with things that make me want to wake up in the morning, and I take chances, and I'm not scared to fail because I've done that plenty of times in my life, and it's a lot of fun. So when you ask me, how do I allocate my portfolio? No, I mean, I balance it. I make sure that, it's very conservative. But what I don't need, I shoot for the fences, because using that to change lives has been epically rewarding for me and continues to be. Listen, when I was on the tennis court, the best part of being out there, and I mean this, if you question it, I dare you to read just the first page of my book, because in the first page of my book, it clearly says that I hate tennis with a dark and secret passion, right? So what was good about tennis? It taught me a lot. I got to meet a lot of good people. But I think when I was in the there and now and playing, it was the idea that I could impact people for a few hours. It felt very personal to me. When I was on a tennis court, that's kind of one of the tools I use to get myself ready for the battle at hand, right? Is I watch these people take time out of their lives to come watch me, and there was a connection to that. What I'm doing now is not just changing lives or offering a break from some of these lives, right? I'm giving life in the sense. I'm helping a life. I'm helping a generation. So it's not even close in my mind what I value more or what interests me more. Well, yeah, we follow it. I mean, I help people along the way on the tennis court, so I like to stay engaged. The game has given me the platform to live the life I'm living now. So I try to respect it by staying connected to it. But again, like any good business, right? A good marriage is one that stays pretty nimble to the seasons of life, and so you're kind of asking me at a time when our son went away to college and our daughter's 17 now. Our parents are much older, and life requires you to be partners, and so you bet on people, and I bet on her and she bet on me, and we're grateful every day for that, right? So we're going to have more time as empty nest approaches, and you can already feel it a little bit. The only thing that I'm sure on is that we're not going to add any more animals to our life. We have a hamster, a fish. I'm just going to count a bunny. And we have 2 cats. We used to have 3, but 2 stray cats that we have nurtured into the home, who sleep literally in our room, who we've had spayed and neutered, and and they're like our animals, right? So we have just too many too many heartbeats going on in there.